I'm a filmmaker. I've worked in film, video, and television for over 30 years. I took a little break, but now I'm back. Welcome to another edition of Art Imitates Live. I'm Tanya Dixon, and the greatest place to be, y'all. It's time for the living room again. Now, we just did one maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago. I didn't think that we were coming back so soon, but just as we had in radio when we were over at Block Talk Radio, popular demand, people really love this segment. So here we are again, and we're talking about love and relationships once again. So this is the living room 2 on love and relationships. I got a full house today, y'all. It's going to be pretty fun. A lot of questions I'm going to be asking everyone. So you sit back, relax, and we get it all kicked off in just a few moments. Art Imitates Live with Tanya Dixon is being sponsored by Tandyland Global, bringing your multimedia dreams to life. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our Imitates Live podcast with Tanya Dixon on both Podbean and on YouTube. Back to the living room. I told you all, as promised, we were coming through with that second living room forum. You remember we had the first one. We talked a lot about love. What is love and all the different scenarios there. And I love my panelists that came through and they talked a whole lot of philosophical things. You know, everyone from Mr. Bernard, as you can see, and Roz and Veronica, and everybody did their thing. But this time around, we get ready to kick it into high gear and have some fun. But before we get started, let me go ahead and introduce my panelists to you. So let me first of all introduce Miss Bola. How you doing, Bola?
Hello.
It's Bola Harding in the house. Shannon, how you doing, Shannon?
Hey, how are y'all?
Hey, I'm good. Bernard, I see you. What's up, man?
Nashville, Tennessee, represent, baby.
All right. All right, Rick the Ruler. Rick is in the house. How you doing, Rick?
What it is. Rickness Monster. Let's get it.
All right. Kellis, how you doing, Kellis?
I'm doing pretty well. How y'all doing?
Good. Michael. Got Michael in the house. How you doing, Michael?
Doing fine, Mr. Air Force himself. How you doing?
All right. Thank you for your service, sir. Yes, and I got, of course, Roz is in the house, and we got the name Shauna. So somewhere in there, we got Roz and Shauna. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
All right. And I guess we'll have Veronica floating in and out, but we're going to go ahead and get it started. You know, this is internet. You know, we're doing YouTube, we're doing Podbean, and you know, we're very informal. It is so different for me, y'all, because I'm used to broadcast television now. For a lot of years, you know, started off with community television. That's where I was with Rick and all. We did all the shows there. But by the time I got to broadcast television, you get in these little small boxes. But now I'm tripping because now here on internet, we can do a lot of stuff. We can have a lot of fun. And right now I'm about to have some fun with y'all. So it's time for love and relationships. Let me go ahead and put on my specs. And I have some questions for you folks. Are y'all ready?
Ready.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be presenting different scenarios, and I want you to tell me what it is that you feel about each scenario. Okay? All right, y'all, it's time to get started on these questions. Now, I found these questions out there. It was just an article that I was reading, and I said, you know something? I didn't want to let anybody know the source of the article because I didn't want you to go in advance and look at the questions. So I said, I'll tell you after everything is done. So I'm going to present a scenario, and we're going to have fun with this. I want to know, what would you do? That's the question. So here's the first one, and we kind of, a couple of y'all might know this first one because we kind of start talking about it beforehand. But here's the first question: you and your partner have been together for a couple of years. When you forget the birthday, you wait all day for them to acknowledge it, but by the next morning, they still haven't said a word. What would you do? Would you end a relationship? What would you do?
So you asking if they forgot my birthday or if I forgot?
Either one. Either one. Like, we're going to put it on you right now. Let's just say they forgot your birthday and you waited all day and they didn't say nothing that night. They didn't say anything. You wake up the next day and they still looking at you like, ain't nothing different. What would you do?
No, I think the standard is different for men and women. I think from a man's point of view, we probably say, okay, baby, we might be a little upset for a little bit, but we'll get over it real quick. But I think women,
No.
that's a problem. That's a major problem.
Right, what you say, Veronica?
Come here, does
No.
I wouldn't.
I'll play right along with them.
Okay.
I'll play right along with them and say, okay. You know, hey.
Now, Shannon, you were saying.
I'm saying I trip.
Shannon said she would trip.
I'm tripping hard. If it's my birthday, I'm tripping. If it's their birthday,
see what I'm saying?
No.
If it's their birthday, then the whole next day I'm spending the whole day taking them out, you know, in the whole yard, crying my eyes out at the end of the day. You know, there's some other shit that happens at the end you got to apologize with. But what I'm saying is, if it's mine, I'm probably breaking something at some point in time. Or
there you have
what I'm saying is, we're not gonna make it to bed. You're already gonna know before we go to bed that you missed my birthday.
There you go. Miss Bola.
And not just for that. And not just for that.
You know what? It really depends.
Oh, let me get the ladies real quick. Bola, go on, because the ladies reacted real quick. So Bola, go ahead.
It depends on your age.
Okay.
In my 30s, in my 20s, I would have tripped. At this age, it's like, okay, what was he doing? Now, if he just forgot because he got too many other women, that's totally different.
Other women in there.
But if he forgot because he had other things going on in his life, okay, I can understand.
Okay, all right, cool.
Like, that's sit down and have a discussion, yeah.
All right.
But I mean, like, if it's you know, it should already be like clockwork, you know, like if I really care about somebody, I'm gonna put a reminder in my phone when their birthday is yearly, just so I know that I don't miss it.
Ooh, yes.
Right.
Now, guys,
don't do that. Don't do that.
No, guys don't do that. No, they don't.
We don't do that. I mean, I might do it on my iPhone, on my phone and stuff. But guys, we don't trip like that about birthdays and stuff. That long as we got you sleeping next to us, we cool.
I mean, from my standpoint, if my partner, if she forgets my birthday, then the first thing I'm gonna do is go to her and figure out what's going on in her life, because that means something's heavy on her mind, on her heart. Kind of like Bola mentioned, there's something going on, so we need to get an understanding so we can address that and help her ease her mind.
Right.
So that's my first thought, is that there's some other things going on that we need to address.
Oh, that's so sweet. I like that.
That's
what if they just flat out don't care, pimp, and they just forgot?
I mean, you'll know the difference. I think you know the difference by how they're moving.
Okay. All right.
Like Bola said, it all depends on the age, because at my age, if I don't have it on the calendar, I'll be done forgot my own birthday. So.
What kind of world we living in?
Okay.
What kind of world are we living in to where they won't?
Right. Okay. So everybody kind of have their thoughts out on this first question. Any other thing before we move on? Any more feelings that you have before we move on to the next one?
I'm listening to everybody else's response. I feel really toxic.
Now, I'm gonna say this here.
Oh my goodness.
Right, I'm gonna say this here. I guess it also depends on, I guess where you come from. Because for me, I ain't really had no birthdays, so me, I wouldn't even be tripping on it. Just coming up as a youngster, we was poor, so I never really got it. It's to the point now, you can give me a seashell off the seashore. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be happy if you give me something as far as a gift, but as far as remembering, I ain't tripping. But just know what go around, come around. I might forget on purpose just to see how you gonna react. You know what I'm saying?
And I think it's also when your birthday.
Remember.
Okay, let me say real quick. Shannon, you said something first. Shannon, you said something, then Bernard. Shannon first. What are you saying?
I'm saying I'm kind of the opposite. Like, you don't really have to buy nothing for me. It's just the act of remembering.
Just remembering.
And, doing something sweet. Like, we could sit at home and watch a movie or something, but it's just the fact that you planned out that time for me and you remembered it. Because I'm just the type of person, I'm so thoughtful when it comes to someone else's time that I would just expect that reciprocated.
Gotcha. Bernard, you were saying something?
If you a December or a January baby like I am, or February, your birthday didn't get celebrated anyway.
You got
so it's not even a big deal. I had one birthday party in 50-some years. Okay.
Hey, so does that kind of does that affect how? That's why it don't really matter to you. You know what I'm saying? Because
correct.
Okay.
I'm a December baby too, so I'm actually December 13th. So that might be why it's more personal to me.
You're
I would beg my mama to have pool parties in the summer. Be like, can we celebrate it in the middle of June? No, we got to do it on your birthday.
Wow.
But now we don't even celebrate Christmas on Christmas Day. It's just whenever we can get together. So it's why was it so important?
Right.
You're December 13th?
Huh? Yeah, December 13th.
Me too.
Oh my gosh! And Veronica,
December 18th, baby.
December 18th. I get ready to bring it out for you. That is December babies. I am gonna tell you right now, y'all. For the last person to respond on this, I'm an October baby. I am a Libra. We are vain. I will admit it. Do not forget my birthday. I'm sorry, we got a problem if you forget my birthday, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm ceremonial, but me and my sister always did stuff together. When my sister passed away, I actually had to start trying to celebrate again. The only difference now is it takes something very just small, even, my friend might bring me flowers or something. It doesn't take a lot for me. Right. It doesn't have to, I don't have to do the whole party now, but when I was in high school and college, we were doing the whole damn thing. But I have grown. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and move on to the second question. We're about to get in, y'all. Number 2, you and your partner haven't really been having sex recently. When you sit down and talk about it, they say that they want to experiment and ask if you'd be happy to open the relationship for a trial period.
I'm out. I'm out. Bye. I'm out.
You know, it depends if it's guy, girl, or girl, guy.
I'm out. I don't care.
Shannon said she don't care. She's out.
If my energy is not enough to satisfy you, then your hunger is not what I need to be satisfying.
All right, then. Shannon said, I'm out of here.
And how old are you again? No, I'm just kidding.
But really, that's a real question there is, something like we talked about on the first Love and Relationships here in the living room. We did talk about what happens when things happen in a relationship and things veer off to the side and that the intimacy part. What would you do? Do you try other things to enhance the relationship, or are you out? So we know what Shannon's going to do. What's the rest of y'all? Michael, what's up?
Like seriously?
Oh, Bernard, what's up?
Like seriously, different strokes for different folks. What can make a couple and bring them together can tear a lot of other couples apart. Me personally, I ain't sharing sweet honey iced tea with nobody.
Man, those are my fries. What are you talking about?
She said them more fries. You want salt? You want That's how you get hot fries in the drive-thru. You tell them you want something with no salt. Okay,
Michael, what else you got to put on that?
Because it's funny that you say that, because this is personal. You know what I'm saying? I'm just telling you straight up, you dealing with somebody. I'm a freak. I'm the freak of the week from Sunday to Saturday. So when you linked up with somebody that may not be on the same freak level as you, right? Okay. Maybe they grew up traditional or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Right. And you go months without it. As a single man, I can get it anytime. And I'm not saying that to try to sound pimp or player, but as a single man, I'm getting what I want whenever I want.
Okay.
And when you in a relationship, they want to ration out the $2.90. You know what I'm saying? They want to ration it out and try to different cars. Hold on. No. Right? And then from what I understand, you said all of a sudden they just want to get freaky. What the heck is who done motivated you to where I couldn't? See, now as a man, I'm like, who you talking to and what I need to do to get like him? You know what I'm saying? Because obviously I ain't doing something right. And I say that, you know what I'm saying, with sarcasm, because all I need is the opportunity. You got to give that to me. But, it's just like one of them things, man. And I've been in a situation where I've held on for about 5 years in a relationship where things wasn't popping how it was supposed to be popping. You know what I'm saying? Right. And one of the things was, one of my motivations was, well, what if it's something beyond that person's control, like a medical condition or something like that? Okay. I would feel real bad if I chucked Goose and it turned out that they had, I don't know, fibroid issues or, or something like that. This is for me with a woman. You know what I mean? Dip out and then something be wrong, and then something is wrong. And now, like your loyalty to your dedication to me wasn't what it was because you dipped out without even trying to figure out what the hell was going on.
Right. I got you. I got you there.
So,
okay. Any more input from anyone? Because this one's a tough one.
Yes. Well,
Veronica, I hear Veronica talking because she can't see us, so we'll get her in there. Ron,
I mean, I'm about like I like to experiment. I mean,
nothing wrong with that.
Don't judge me.
All right.
Don't judge me, but but I like to experiment. As long as I get to pick and choose who comes in.
Right.
But sometimes I feel like it enhances the relationship.
Okay.
It makes the relationship better.
Do you ever have a fear in here? Because Bernard, when we kind of spoke about this one time before, Bernard spoke about a friend of his that did this, and then the girl went off with the third party. He lost his relationship. So do you ever? Yes. Do you ever? There, Bola. Go, Bola.
A lot of people don't understand about relationships. People get into relationships most of the time to satisfy their needs, not about what it is it takes to have a relationship. So if you're with somebody like with me, when I was younger, I used to experiment. That's who I was. At the age I'm at now, would I experiment? No, because I want different things in life. You have to also understand what it is that the person you're with wants in life. And who was it talking about that partner went off with the other person?
Bernard.
Bernard? That's because that other person was more compatible. You may love somebody, but you may not be compatible. You may not be suited for that person. You cannot force somebody to stay with you because you love them.
Gotcha. Turned out that person was a freak, and she didn't stay with that person long either.
And you have
but what happened is he awoke in her inner freak.
Yeah.
Hey, he had the freak on the down low, and now she said hello.
I have to agree with that woman, because I used to be like that. I would just go because that's who I was at that time. Until you satisfy sex, a lot of people don't understand. People who do sex, just have sex like that, it's not because they want to satisfy the sex or the person. It's because it's something within themselves. They need to find out and satisfy themselves.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think a deeper question to ask is that, are you guys really talking about your sex life? I mean, we do quarterly reviews in the corporate level. You know, you do weekly, you check yourself, you check your goals to stay on. But, sex should be a goal in your marriage too.
Right.
Or in your relationship. You should be having like a thermometer check. Is it hot or not?
Right.
If you're not checking, because we I can say as an African American male, we don't have those conversations. We don't have those erotic conversations about sex on a constant basis.
That's true. Michael.
I was just gonna say Bernard has a good point. At one point in an old marriage, we did the freaky deaky deaky, and we got down and dirty. And what ended up happening is you awaken, because see, some people don't know who they are until they've been exposed, right? And that's why a lot of the times when you look at people in the swinger community, they're older because they done been together for a long time and they done understood each other, and it is a mutual agreement. These youngsters just be out here trying to fulfill some immediate gratification, like Bola said, right? But you never know who you're dealing with, because some people just want and want to be sexually free to all extent, and when you travel into that different realm, right? Like he said, you unlock Pandora's box, and that happened to me. Right, that happened to me. It was where my Pandora's box was open, my old lady Pandora's box was open, and once we had went into that whole swinger thing, like we both was wilding out. And instead of coming together trying to talk and come to a mutual agreement, she out there wilding out and I'm out there slanging and banging, you know what I'm saying? And it was one of those things where it ended up over time, it ended up making us go our separate ways, because our like Bola said, our personal desires was a little bit different. And those was conversations, like somebody just said, that we weren't having, because a lot of people are not taught to deal with emotion and express themselves. You know what I mean? So for me, in a previous relationship, it was good when we was getting it, but post getting it totally deteriorated our relationship, because there was some aspects that we didn't know. Now that I'm a little bit older, like Bola was saying, like now that you're a little bit older, those things come about a little bit different. Okay. You know what I mean? So
I mean,
you basically have to check your emotional intelligence. Right.
Yeah.
We're intelligent on a lot of levels, but our emotional intelligence, I think a lot of people need to step up. They need to step up their game in that area.
And it goes a little bit past, like, we're so quick to want to have like the physical gratification when it comes to the sexuality in our relationships, that we don't take time to step back and think about the spirituality and you know, the emotional connection that you have with somebody. Like, I don't know, like, obviously, like I've been practicing for a long time, you know, like I prefer to call myself a practitioner instead of like a witch or something like that. But I've been practicing for a long time. So that stuff is like very near and dear to my heart. So if I see that I am on a higher spiritual level than my partner, then that becomes more of that's where it becomes more of a problem in the bedroom, because then you have more of that's why I say, like, I don't want to share my energy, because I already have so much energy going so many other places. Like, I have my art, I have my job, I have a whole bunch of other stuff that I have so much energy going in so many places. So when I choose you to share that type of energy with, I don't want to complicate it by bringing someone else's energy into it, because then there's a confusion of like, where is my energy going, and who am I actually sharing my spirituality with, and who is actually on my level spiritually, as opposed to going out on a limb and trying to get to that spiritual level with your partner and trying to fix that aspect of your relationship in order to lead into the sexual healing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Kellis, you were saying something?
I mean, I was just going to give a real simple input. Basically, I don't like sharing water with strangers, so I'm not going to share anything else. I mean, I got my specific water bottle. That's just what it is.
Even the REAL.
I don't share wet with anybody, no matter what kind of wet it is.
Okay. Rick, you've been very pensive. Rick, what do you have to say on this?
Just to piggyback what Kellis was saying, to get back something that wanted to go or wanted to venture out. Is it not going to be the same? It's like you're giving something to something evil. And now that was once good, you want it back. You don't know what kind of infection, be it sexually or emotionally or spiritually. And bring it back to you and to fix something that is already here. That's a risk.
Okay.
I got a question. I got something.
Bola?
Okay, the question you were asking, but bringing somebody into the relationship versus somebody you're in a relationship going out and stepping out on you on the side. Now, which is better?
Oh, well, I'm coming to that question in a minute. Yeah. So y'all might as well hold on, because we're going down that road in just a minute here. And, you know, before we go.
Transparency, my sister.
Oh, Michael, you have something you want to add?
I do, because I'm telling y'all, I got a whole phone full of stuff that I write down. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, crazy. This is how the universe works. Okay. Y'all have mentioned a lot of things. I have an acronym. I say, when people are looking for love, right? At least from a man's perspective, right? As a man, I'm looking for my Miss Pies, and that's an acronym: MSPIES.
Okay.
Right, Miss, MS.
Right. Okay. Yes. Gotcha.
Right. So
what's that mean?
I want y'all to take it with me now. MSPIES, Miss Pies. I'm looking for my Miss Pies. You gotta love me mentally, spiritually, physically, intellectually, emotionally, sexually. Then she'll get the best of me. You got to say, I Miss Pie. It's funny because y'all have tapped on each one of them words. Everybody in the group tapped on each one of them words at some point during their dialogue. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's crazy.
That's a lot of love.
Can you make me a Mr. Pies? Come up with something for me. I need a Mr. Pies, okay? A Mr. Pies.
Well, you know.
How many of us are taught that?
You know, mine is more simple.
Into a relationship, not just the church. Most people in the church will say, hey, you find somebody who's equally yoked.
Right.
So you find a lot of people in the church who get married. Well, if you go to church, I want to have sex, so I'm getting married. That is not what equally yoked is.
Right.
You can equally yoked is you and that person walking down the same path or similar path, will his path and her path will not conflict one another. Like I say, the enemy loves marriages. Most Christian-based people get married because of sex, not because they like
Yes. And you know, that is something that I feel. Well, first of all, I'm gonna draw this out to the public. Bola is a spiritual life coach. Just and we'll talk about what everybody does at the end of the whole broadcast. But I just wanted to bring that out. That's what Bola does, 24/7. And I personally, in my own findings, I'm feeling that here in our 3-dimensional life, which we're raising our dimension to 4D and 5D, but 3D is a construct where marriage is a business. They wanted to get you on paper. They want to make money off of you. And it's a total mind F. I'm trying to be nice, about the whole thing. And these people walk around feeling like they're yoked just because they put their names on a paper and all kinds of stuff like that. It's a lot more to this thing, y'all. And as time goes on, we'll get to break this down even more. Veronica, before we pull off this, you and Roz have any thoughts before we pull out of this question?
No, I'm good on this one.
Okay. Okay, Roz, you got any thoughts before any hearts and minds clear before we move forward, Roz?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all hearts and minds clear, y'all? Can we moving on? All right. Okay, this one's a doozy. Woo! Should I come back to this one? I'm gonna skip this one and I'm coming back in a minute.
Bring it on.
Okay, y'all. Okay, I'll do it. On your wedding day, you find out that your partner had an affair. When you confront them about it, they swear that it's over and you believe them.
Wait. Is there a prenup?
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up. The wedding is all paid for and the guests have started to arrive. We're on a day.
Is there a prenup though? That is an important part of this question.
Right. See, I don't know about that part. That's something where I don't know about that part.
You was in love.
We can do part 1, part 2, with or without.
Okay, we'll do the with first, with prenup. What would you do? You find out that they had an affair and all this, and they say it's over, blah, blah, blah. And everybody is out there in the whatever it is, whether you're in a church, whether you're outside of the lake, getting married, people already gathering.
You gonna have it goddamn wedding date.
Yo. If there is a prenup, I'm going through because I'm gonna divorce you as soon as it's done. And
okay.
If there is not a prenup, if there is not, I'm going through with it, and then I'm taking everything at the end.
Wow.
All right. Miss Shannon.
When did they have the
okay, Bola, you asked a question?
When did they have the affair? They had the affair months before?
That's important.
Right. They
2 years, a year before the
there's no I guess that's up to us to determine how soon the affair, how it was.
Bachelorette party, doing the bachelorette or the bachelor party.
No, we're done. Taking all that. That's mine.
The other question would be, with who?
Oh, okay. You said
it don't matter with
like if it's her best friend, it's like
that's regardless. That's regardless.
So you all are saying
well, sometimes when you first start dating a person, you kind of like cutting loose a little, like you're burning up your list and stuff, and you kind of like cutting people up. So I think initially, when you start dating somebody, it could be a little messy, you know what I'm saying? Because you're still feeling out each other. You don't know if, y'all going to be together or not. So the average young man, well, back in my day, I might be dealing with 2 or 3 ladies. And then I decided like, okay, I'm going to break it out for the rest because you are it.
Right.
You are it, right? But for that little time frame where we started getting together, I might have been a little messy. You know what I'm saying? I might have had like 2, 3. Well, I ain't gonna go to no numbers, but I might have a lot going on. You understand what I'm saying? And I think one thing, when you become engaged, that's a period to get to know each other. that's not a period to like say, I'm going to get married. I'm going to get married, but that's the time to get to know it. People automatically, how they have it now is as soon as they get engaged, they stop getting to know each other. They just start planning the wedding. That's a major mistake right there.
Yeah, you need
when they get engaged, they should go into counseling to find out what they want from the marriage, where their long-term and short-term goals, and then if they're in agreement with that, go ahead and get married. But I think a lot of people go into the in it where, okay, we get married, boom, boom, boom. We just go into the ceremony. It's all about the wedding then. And I think that's the biggest mistake that people can make when they get married.
That's real. I know that from experience. My first marriage, I proposed to her, and then she wanted a larger wedding at the time. Then Katrina hit, so we kind of moved everything up, and it was real simple. But it was not built around us getting to know each other and with the pain that we've been through, understanding scars. Because the thing about it is, a lot of times we hide our scars, we hide our wounds from who we're getting to know, because we think, okay, if they know this, they may not want to deal with it. The truth of the matter is, we got to understand each other's wounds and scars, so we know how we should be able to address them, help them either with their healing, know what not to peel, if you will, and just know how to properly engage with each other and contend for and with each other. So now that I'm trying again, I'm engaged, and we've been focusing more on the, like Bernard said, with the counseling, getting to know each other's. We've been together over a year, so we spend a lot of time understanding each other's pains and problems. So, yeah, I agree.
I like that.
To me, marriage starts before you say I do.
Absolutely. Yep.
A person, a man, like a lot of my male friends would say to me, within 5 minutes of a man meeting you, he already knows if you're in the wife category. With women, we look at a man, a lot of our mothers don't tell us the truth about marriage. So we go in, because we've seen all these movies, thinking, oh, I found my Prince Charming. There is no Prince Charming. There's a man you are compatible with. There not even just one man, there are many men you're compatible with.
So you're saying the Cinderella story is what we're being told.
A lot of women. And that's why we look at, why would you get with a man who you know likes other women and you're not willing to do that? Why? You can't change him. There's no way, there is no changing anybody in life. People are who they are. It is not up to you to change them to fit who you want them to be. When you can accept a person for who they are, the bad, it's never the good. It's not the good that destroys a marriage. It is a bad thing that destroys a marriage. So when you can accept the bad in a person and leave that bad in that person, then you can make your marriage work. It has nothing to do with the good. It always has to do with, can I accept who that person is?
They really are.
Never change.
Well, if they're telling you about cheating though, like right when you're married, when you're like at the wedding, right? The thing though, because you would think that if they were telling you something that close to the wedding, it would have happened pretty recently. So it's not like you were accepting something that is bad about this person. It's that this person stepped out of disrespect.
Yeah.
Right before your day. So
why did they? Why?
Well, let me present this.
It doesn't matter why at that point. It doesn't matter why at that point, because you were already on your way to the altar. So this was a definite choice.
So if I represent this to you all, you find out. Let's just say hypothetically, I'm going to give you my scenario and see how you all can give me an answer on my scenario. If I'm saying to you, I'm standing in a room with I'm putting on my dress and I got my bridesmaids and everything, and somebody comes up and whispers in my ear and tells me everything going on, and I've got a whole, venue full of people at that moment. That decision that I have to make, that's where I'm saying right there. What would you do on that? Would you still walk out there with those people and still go through it, or would you leave? Michael?
First of all, what I heard you say was somebody came and told you something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
First
problem.
thing off the top, if somebody else told you,
Right.
I'm going through what's going on because it is, and as a lot of people know, it's haters. It's other people,
right?
It's other people that want what you got.
Okay, what if the thing is, and this is the other part of it. What if your mate comes in and they reveal it? They got to get it off their chest. What would you do?
Now, so look at this. Somebody said, I forgot who said it, so I don't want to be disrespectful by not remembering. Somebody said that when you get engaged, right? That's where you everybody start looking at the wedding, engaged wedding, right? That engagement piece is an individual, at least for a man if he proposed. I know now times change. You got women dropping to a knee asking people to marry them. Yeah. But that is a person, let's just say that a person saying I think somebody said that out of all the people out here, why would you want somebody who's looking at other women? Even though they made a conscious decision to say, we're gonna go with what is Pimp C and Outkast. I choose you. That's that person basically saying, out of all the things that's going on, I see something in you and I choose you. So once they choose you, right? They're saying they're going to sacrifice everything else for the sake of you because you bring them something that they could not find out there in the world. Right? Yeah. So when they come to you and they tell you, hey, I messed up, or I did this. Now, are they saying it because they're trying to get out, or are they saying it because, hey, before I go further, I need you to know what's happening, and I need you to be able to make a decision whether you want to move forward or not. Right? For example, I had a son while I was dating a female, and I found out the results of it. No, you got to understand. We okay. Right? She hit me, I need to see where I want to be things. We went and did our thing, and we got back together. But mine came back with luggage, right? Okay. So, and I'm only saying this to relate it to the story, the topic that you said. So when I came back, I had a son. I proposed. Well, I could have just went into the marriage and be like, hey, by the way, this came up. No, I told her prior to, because I'm not going to force anybody into a situation. I wanted her, I loved her enough and respected her enough to say, hey, this came up, and I explained everything. And before we get married, I need you to know this, and you make the decision if you want to go forward with me. Scenario, hey, I banged your best man last night, or a year ago I did this with Tommy Joe.
Way too close.
But right, but they're telling you, and you make the decision if you want to go forward. And if you make that decision to go forward, that's something that you choose to deal with, and at that point, that means you have forgiven her, accepted that, and you cannot bring that up no more. That's what it is right there. You have to forgive it and go forward. And to me, my answer would be if it resonates with me, because we all have to start to trust our feelings inside. Once we get to know ourselves as a person, as an adult, we don't go off anymore what the public says, what the family, what the friends, what anybody says. If it resonates with me inside, and I think I can do that forgiveness, I'm moving forward. But if I'm stuck, it's not going to get solved by me walking out there.
Right.
And saying yes, and I do, and all that.
No, it's like regardless of the money involved, we got to say, hey, look, this thing's on hold. It might be canceled. It might never happen again. Like this may just be done.
Right.
Exactly. Michael said it's all about.
Right. I can still eat.
Michael said the thing. Trust.
Trust.
Right. Where is your trust?
Yeah. Yes.
Number one is, do you trust yourself?
Right.
We want to put trust on somebody else, but the trust really lies with you on your decision. Michael was honest. Hey, this is what I did. You made the choice.
Right.
A lot of us, we don't want to make that choice. We want somebody else to make it so we can blame the other person for the decisions we make.
Okay. Well, before we get off this question here, Rick, you have any thoughts?
Oh, I'm just inputting. Yeah, I'm like pretty much hearing what you're saying.
All right. Ron, Veronica, or Roz, y'all have any thoughts on this one?
I'm agreeing. I'm agreeing. I'm good on this question. I'm kind of agreeing with everything. So
okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'm with that. We moving forward. Let's see. This one is. You've been no, that's not the right one. This is my fault. Let me go on to the next one. You find out from somebody else that your partner has kissed another person. You thought that you were both happy, and there seems to be no reason for it.
Where's the receipts?
Yeah. So we kind of talked about that just now. That's somebody else coming in and saying something.
I think you always have to consider the source.
Right.
So every time you receive some information from somebody, consider the source. If it's my ride to die best friend, and I know that they always got my back, and they tell me something, and I gotta really, really pay a lot of attention to that. But if it's some random dude or random girl or something like that, or somebody that I've had art with or something like that before, then I gotta go like, okay, I'm hearing you, then I'm gonna have to go to that individual and like clarify like what happened and stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of people like Michael was saying, there's a lot of haters out there. I had a situation, and then this happened in my marriage where you know, they were throwing a lot of salt about me. And after we got divorced, they told her they wanted to move in with her. This was a woman.
Wow.
Women wanted to move in with her, and my ex wasn't like that. And then when she said, you know, no, we can't do that, then the same lady didn't want to have nothing to do with it. Now, mind you, this is a woman, a minister.
Wow.
You know, with the collar and everything.
with the collar.
So she turned around and told me that's the worst mistake she ever made. But you know, if you listen to certain sources, they would tear your house down because they have another agenda.
Well, along that lines, while we're answering this question, let me go ahead and throw another one that kind of goes in with this one. It is about if your friend comes to you and says something like, okay, for instance, you introduce your mate to your friend and everything is all hunky-dory, but then afterwards your friend pulls you to the side and says, cancel that. What would you do? Kind of put that all together.
First of all,
yeah,
I love you, you're my homie, but we're still not the same person. You know, how they come about it. Because, you know, like you say, cats only play close enough to be in the shadow and have a knife ready. Have something that they want. Take that into consideration.
Right.
All that it's probably making it beneficial for you. You know, if you're not giving me any reasons, anything going against the attributes. I mean, if there's anything else you can tell me other than this? Is this all you give me? Maybe do that in the mirror with yourself, because I need something substantial. You understand? Not just by gestures, but
I mean, for me, it's just I got to get understanding.
Yeah,
and all I get understanding, like discussion, communication, like it's got to be some open and clear. I mean,
that's the key word, communication.
I mean, I hear from my friend, again, you got to consider the source, but I'm gonna pull the person aside and say, look, let's talk through what we've been through.
Right.
You know, it may not even be a direct question about that direct situation that may have been brought up, but let's walk through what we've been through so we can understand some things. Because There's people that have been different people in different points in their lives. And if the other person may have crossed paths with that person at that time, that may just be all they know of that person. But you don't know what's happened over the past couple of years or however much time since maybe they lost sight of that person and that person's improved, changed, adjusted.
Right.
So you can't go based on what somebody's milestone of an individual is.
All right. Mr. Michael?
I think that whole question, I think somebody said that you got to consider the source.
Right.
Now, I'm going to say this. There are a lot of haters out there. And the number one thing, and this was me as a single man, with any female that call herself in a relationship. I'm gonna stay on track.
Okay.
If I could instill doubt in whomever you was with, I'm smashing. Or I'm hitting, or whatever the term was, or I'm getting you, right?
Right.
Because you could tell me I'm faithful, I'm this, I'm that. But the moment I present you with any other additional information to make you doubt who you with, I got you, right? So you have to consider the source, like someone said earlier. And in the same sense, that source could be foul. For example, I have a best friend. His name is Rick. But I know Rick. Rick is my best friend, but I may not be Rick's best friend. Rick's best friend may be somebody else, right? So if Rick come to me and tell me, hey, man, blah, 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 I know Rick as my best friend, and I know that Rick is a player. So when he come tell me, hey, man, you might not want to do that, I'm going to be like, bet. But if I know who Rick is and his personality, his characteristics, if Rick coming to me telling me that, considering the source, he probably done smashed my gal. You know what I mean? Or something like that. I'm going above and beyond with this one. So I know Rick, and Rick may have hit my gas. So I'm like kind of, whatever. But at that point, somebody has, going back to the original point, they done instilled doubt in my mind, right? Because a lot of people, well, they won't admit it. I don't want to see you get married, because if you get married, you're gonna be gone. You're gonna be leaving me. Right.
Yes, I've seen that before too. Something, and I'm gonna bring this scenario in real quick because this actually happened to me. And Bola, you know this person because we used to work with her, and I'm sure I might have told you the story. If not, I'll still tell you who it is. We have a friend that we work with, and we were really cool and everything. She and I used to, run around and everything. Have fun and all that. And then I knew that she was with this guy and they were going to be getting married. I walked out. I was at the grocery store and I was about to get out of the car. And he walked out of the grocery store holding hands with another woman. So I debated with myself as to say anything because I knew their relationship was tight. They were getting married and everything. I debated. I think I kicked it around to a couple of friends. Should I say anything? And when I started to say something to her one time, she knew people already know these things about their mate. So she looked at me and she said, what do you know? She said it just like that. So when I told her what I saw, and she brought that dude to my house and stood him right in my face. Wow. And he lied. And guess what? They went ahead and got married.
You should have taken a picture.
I didn't
Let me.
Yeah, I know.
Let me
also say.
Okay, you know who it is. Okay, well, let me tell you, before you go further, Bernard, let me say this. Let me hold your point, Bernard. Bola, you know who it is. And Shannon was before picture time, before the phones and everything. This was years ago. This was in the 90s. And so we didn't have the phones like that. Right. And so unfortunately, I didn't have that. They got married and he kept doing what he was doing and they broke up anyway. But she could have listened to me, but she was holding on to that because of what? Her insecurity. Now go ahead.
Ooh. If someone had met me in my 20s, they would have said, "Oh yeah, he's a player. He runs a stable of women. Blah 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 blah." It would have been a bad picture.
You had him going, didn't you?
But if you met me now, I'm a man, because I thought I was a man when I was in my 20s, but I was just in my physicality. I was trying to find myself, and a lot of times men try to find themselves through exploration, may I say it. And we become more mature and adult, because the average man is not really married material until they reach around their 30s. Okay, so
Michael said,
if you run into one of my exes back in like when I was in 20s, what they remember of me is, oh no, don't mess with that dude. That dude's a player. But see, I'll put down my player coat, my Batman shirt, I took off my Superman cape. And now you got the real brother who's just looking for a good woman right now. And I'm ready to breed and set my legacy, and my destiny is in one woman now, because I've reached a different maturity level. So someone could be coming with some good information, but it's good information back in the past. It's not the current you right now in this present moment. So that's where you have to come in like a little investigation of what happens, because I know some women who were really promiscuous in teenage and college, but they're not that person anymore.
Right.
But someone could come back and say, hey, man, I smashed her. She was smashing all kinds of dudes up in college, man. She was like a revolving door.
Right.
But that's not her no more.
Right.
So you got to do a little investigation.
Okay, Michael? Michael, then Bola. Michael first.
Go ahead, to the young lady that was starting to talk. Go ahead. I'll wait.
Okay, Bola?
Now, like Bernard said, a lot of men are not marriage material till their 30s. Women get married material in their 20s. So it's not hard to get a man to marry you. But are you willing to help that man mature to where he needs to be? And a lot of women are not.
I've had the opposite experience. It's been hard for me to get a man to marry me, but I always end up being the one that turns into their mother at some point into the relationship.
So, but how old are you?
I'm 31.
Okay. So you're mature.
Right.
So the men you date, are you dating men a little older than you, like in their 30s and their early 40s? See what I'm saying? Because the maturation rate, if you're dating men like close to like that age or like a little younger than you and stuff like that, they still haven't got that maturity yet. For the most part, in general. There's always going to be an exception. But the rule of thumb that women, plus if we talk about childbirth and everything like that, they're at their prime is like the 24, 20, and the 24 and 30. Men, we really don't come into our own, not just maturity, but financially too, where we can support a family until really we're in our 30s and 40s. So when you're looking for a man to, like people say, high caliber man or high value man, women are looking for that guy in his 20s, you're going to have a hard time. I'm just going to tell you like it is. You're going to have a hard time because they're not going to be ready to set down their saddle because they're riding a lot of ponies out there.
You know what?
My age. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And if you look at the marriages that have lasted 50 years, 60 years, they got married at 20. But you ask them what they went through at 20.
Right.
They had to go through a lot to get to that 50 years.
So they had to grow.
Women are not able to go through that with a man. They have this fantasy of what marriage is. Exactly. Marriage is not what we see on TV, and it will never be, because you're dealing with two different individuals. You are different than I. I am different from Tanya. So the type of men we are supposed to be with are totally different. What you accept and what I accept are totally different. What the man gives and what the man has to offer are totally different depending on the man. So you have to look at yourself first before you even go look for a mate.
Yeah, and then people, I'm gonna let Michael talk in a minute. Let me just say this. I know for myself, I didn't have any ideas of even wanting to be married for a very, very long time. I was like, maybe one day, and I don't know if I got then. I came from two parents that were married for almost 43 years. My dad died, but it was just something in my mind from what I was seeing from society that it wasn't resonating with me. And to this point in my life right now, do I need that piece of paper, that 3D construct? No. Do I want my gosh, what's the word? Oh gosh. What's the word? My twin flame. Do I want my twin flame? Yes. I want my twin flame. But do I have to have my twin flame on a piece of paper, down with the license and all that kind of stuff? That means nothing to me. I want that person that's committed heart-wise, not paper-wise. Go ahead, Michael.
So I'm gonna get it done real quick. I believe it was Bernard who said this. He was like, people only see you as a certain way when we always talk about who we were to who we are now, right? And we're talking about this age thing. In your 20s, you're still trying to figure out life. In your 30s, you got a little grasp on yourself, and you may got a good job and this thing, these other, you know what I mean? And you may have a little financial stability and things like that. So now you're more, you're in a better situation to be able to do these things. But what he did say that really stuck with me was, he said, in my 20s, people will tell you this. I don't know how old the young man is today, Mr. Bernard. See a lot of gray that let me know you got a lot of wisdom. So I want to, you know, but
it's painted. No,
right? But he said this though. But what he said was this, and it made me think of this: the people who only view you or still view you as the old you,
they haven't grown.
Right? Thank you. Like so. I'm luckily for me, I joined the military, so I was able to go around the world. Right. So I've traveled and seen many things. I've been exposed to different cultures, and I have grown. And I deal with this now when I go back home. You change. You ain't the same. And that and the other. Right.
Right.
Ain't that what
you grew?
Right.
Yeah.
The
Right. So now
it's the same, but you mature. That's the whole point.
So right. Experience different things, and then you've matured or you've ascended or transcended to a different height. They still trying to hold you to what they remember of you, right? And so now that's why we said earlier, you have to consider the source. It may be somebody who only remember you from who you used to be and not who you are now.
Okay.
Right.
I like that.
Then I forgot who said the young lady was like, you know, hey, look, it's a lot of people out there. And I had this conversation at work with some of the young ladies at work. I ain't got time. I'm in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no good men out there. And as Bernard was saying, a lot of men don't, come into their manhood until later on after they done experienced some things. I ain't got time to raise no man. He should already be what I need him to be. Right.
Yeah. And that's a hard one there. Right there. That's a hard one there. Being where I am right this moment. The hardest thing that I have that I see out there with guys in our age group, I'm gonna say Bola, our age group, is that they get kind of hung up on even what you do because they might be used to a certain kind of woman because they've already been through a lot of fire. They've already had some trial by fire for a while there. And so then they have in their minds built up that you should be doing this, doing that. I think that's the hardest thing that I have had a hard time with is people saying like me in entertainment, that's not real. And they cannot wrap their heads around that. But I've grown to a point where I don't care. Because in my maturity, I just don't care about that. But that's when you see those women out there who say, oh, there's not a good man out there. There's some things that they're running in those type of people, or there's some things with themselves.
Right. They're not recognizing their own pattern.
Right.
That's the
point. Because there are good men out there.
Like with me, like you said, in our age group, I'm 56. But I found the person that I work best with. didn't think so. He's what, 42?
Right.
And it's because I came to my maturity.
Right.
You can never expect, like somebody said, I don't have time. They're no good. There are a lot of good men out there.
They are.
And God has to show me, you're a good woman, but you're not good for everybody.
Right.
And people do not understand. We are not good for everybody.
That's
and
right.
Once a woman understands that, she will look for a man that she is good for. Instead of just picking up, well, he's got a good job, he's got this, that's not what that man needs. Mm-hmm. What you have to offer, you make a good girlfriend, but you're not wife material. That doesn't mean you're not a good woman.
Right.
You're not his wife material.
Right.
And once we get that, because I'll tell you, like I said, 56, women, we think what's down there is made of gold.
Some of us got that baby.
Go to prostitute. What you got is no different from what another woman has when it comes to down there.
Right.
Bola is right on the money. She's right on the money. I think a lot of women, and I had to deal with the women I deal with, African American women. I think they have unrealistic expectations. I think they consider themselves like the ultimate prize, when in reality, like she said, you're no different than other women. When men look at you, men gauge. First of all, men, we're visual,
right?
So you gotta meet that first inspection right there off the rip. If you and unfortunately, African women. The average weight of an African woman are over 180 pounds. Over 180 pounds. The same man average weight is 165 pounds. So we have an issue right there off the bat, right off the rip with the visualization. And a lot of women say, well, men love big women all the time. No. Yeah, but no. Okay? You shouldn't be... if you're 5'5" and 180 pounds, you're overweight.
Well, let me bring this question in, because that's another question right there. Let me go ahead and incorporate this question right into what you're saying right now.
I want to pause. I want to pause real quick. I want to apologize. I've been having an allergic reaction for like a month, and I'm trying to keep my skin calm enough so I can keep participating.
You know what I see when I see you over there, Shannon? I just said she's over there doing her, and I really like everybody just doing their own thing. So I'm cool with that. I'm the only one that's kind of like have to stay right here, but everybody else, when you have to get up and get down and everything, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Okay.
Sorry.
Bernard, what you were saying about the weight thing is another question of mine. Okay, in this scenario, what if you're dating someone or, you're married to someone and you get in a relationship and both of you get very comfortable with one another. You stop dressing all, spiffy like you used to. Everybody ain't fly no more. Anybody ain't doing their swag no more. But you're so comfortable. And then one of the mates starts to gain weight. And you're cool with it. You joke about it. You talk about it, and you even make jokes sometimes about it. I see you over there with all that thickness, either to the male or the female. But then one day you notice that it might be just a little bit too much for you from what it originally was. Would you say anything? Would you leave the person? How would you handle that?
First of all, that goes back to what I was telling you about earlier about checking with your own sexuality with your couple and talking constantly about your sex life, your family life. And people don't like to talk about sex, okay? But obviously they're having sex because their children being born every day, okay? So somebody's doing something, okay? These kids ain't coming by themselves, all right? So you went in marriage the wrong way, I think, from the getting.
Yeah.
If you're not talking, you're not having date night, you're not having sex that is commiserate to your libido, that is satisfying for each one of you, then you're heading from a road destined destined for disaster.
Okay.
Because you didn't go in right. Okay. And if you come back and then later on she blows up, you've already accepted that because your silence is acceptance because you said nothing. So now you come back down the road and she's gained all this weight, or he has gained all this weight, and they're not sexually appealing to you now. That's going to be a battle. That's going to be a battle. And what I say with people, be preventive, not reactive in your relationship. If you're preventive, then you nip everything in the bud before it even happens. If you're reactive, you got most likely it's going to be a hard road to come back. And I know Bola could probably speak on that because she's the relation expert. That proactive. It's easier to be preventive than to be reactive.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. To me, it's all about presentation.
Right.
So the understanding already has to be there before you get into a committed relationship. That what you're trying to get into is a covenant, because you kind of touched on it, Tanya, as far as piece of paper and whatnot. So I've always been taught that marriage is a covenant, not a contract. So when you're talking about a covenant and that level of commitment, that's based on somebody's core, not their exterior. Because flowers fade, grass withers. But if y'all build something on rock and it's solid, then you're not even going to let it get to the point where it's a surprise to anybody. So the understanding should already be set that, you know, it's not necessarily about looks, but it's more about well-being, health. You know, if we're going to make this thing last for years, then we got to be around for years. So that means we're going to exercise together. We're going to, you know, eat as clean as we can. And then if we want to have a couple cheap meals here and there, then we just have to have an understanding. And if something, again, like it kind of goes back to the first question that we, you know, discussed earlier.
Right.
I'm not going to assume. I need to have the communication and understand, is it an emotional thing? Is there something else going on that's causing either a lack of activity, emotional eating, whatever the case may be? That means there's something deeper. And so if we're supposed to be on the same page, if the two are supposed to be one, then why would I be surprised? You know, so our love shouldn't be gauged on their looks or their weight or whatever. And so we need to be preventative and on the same page so that doesn't even get to that point.
Gotcha. I like that.
I have, like especially with men, looks does matter. I don't care who you are, looks does matter. The issue is, like, I'll give you an example. Like, I remember I dated this one guy. Most of the guys I dated were in the gym. I didn't go to the gym. I have a nice body. I didn't go to the gym. And one wanted 8 kids. And I looked at him, 8 kids means getting fat. So when I get fat, I don't want you to say anything about it. Because I don't like to go to the gym. So if you're in a relationship with somebody who wants a thin woman, he's going to want a thin woman at the age of 20. He's going to want a thin woman for her age group at the age of 50.
That's him. That's who he is, right? He is, right? And a lot of people sit there and say, you ain't changed. They've changed. They may have grown, but certain things, right, or their view or their perspective of things, it carries on. Here's one of the conversations I had with my son. My son about to be 20.
What?
Yeah, he about to be 20.
You look good for a 20-year-old. Look at you. Go on.
The son. Let's keep it real.
Yeah. So, I had one of these conversations with him, and it was to the point that, you know, when you looking at your mate, your spouse, or whatever the case may be, man, like, you are who you are and you like what you like. The moment that you commit to whomever you with, you accepted them for good, bad, ugly, indifferent, or whatever the case may be. Now watch this. This is not me trying to promote talent, but I believe Music Soul Child has a song that says it best. You know what I'm saying? Y'all into music. He says, lately you have been questioning if I still love you the same way. Because through these trying years, right, we're going to both physically change. So the moment that you get into a relationship with somebody, you have to expect, especially the beauty and the love of the female. See, I'm from Texas, baby. You know what I'm saying? All the women I grew around was about 5'2" with good proportion. Hey, look here, with wide hips and a big old booty. So for me, I can't do.
Okay.
I need a little thickness on. You know what I'm saying? On my thing. So, you know what I mean? But then he continues to go on, right? And he tells that woman in that song, "I'm gonna love you till your hair turn gray. I still want you if you gain a little weight."
Yeah.
Like, come on, y'all know the song. I ain't got to keep it.
Yeah, a little weight.
Wait a minute. Veronica, I hear Veronica weighing in. Veronica, what do you want to say on that? You have a question or comment?
Preach it, my brother, preach. I have a question. I have a question pertaining to this question.
Okay.
The question is, how do you feel about plus size women altogether? I mean, would you date a plus size woman or not? You know, I mean, if you're out there looking for love, I mean, what is your type of woman? I've been plus size all my life. I've been through trials and tribulations to find love, to get into love. I played, I'll be your boyfriend if you do this. Do this for me, and I'll be your boyfriend or whatever. And that's when I was younger. Then as I got older, it was, I'm gonna can I get your phone number? I'm gonna call you tonight. And then it's they don't come around until it get dark, and then that's where they want to come over, and they want to be in a relationship dark and or have sex dark. No, we don't do those. That's not what I wanted to do. If you're gonna fall in love with me, fall in love with me. Fall in love with the person that you see. Right. And
yeah, go ahead.
It's like I went through things like I don't mess with big women. Why are big women around? That's the type of stuff that I went through. Like you said, 5'2", 5'2", big hips, everything's big. Hey, we're human too. So therefore, we need love just as much as the next person is. That 2 or that 6 or even that 0. We need love just as much as they do.
Can I keep it real?
Bernard wants to keep it real. What's up, bro?
I understand what you're saying, but me personally, and I think a majority of men, I'm not gonna speak to all the men, but to me, I look at like health implications because I'm looking at long term. When I'm looking at the woman that I'm gonna be walking down the aisle with, I'm thinking of that she's gonna be around with me through thick and thin. We're gonna be old together and stuff like that. And I'm looking at health implications. I want a healthy relationship. And frankly, when I look at plus size women, I don't see that.
Stay tuned for scenes of part 2 of Love and Relationships in the Living Room. We hope that you have enjoyed this episode of Art Imitates Live with Tanya Dixon, so be sure to like and subscribe. And also check us out on all of our other social media. Next time on part 2 of Loving Relationships in the Living Room on Art Imitates Life.
And then you got the image that America shows that they're not looking for plus size women.
It doesn't matter as a person what size you are, what height you are, what color you are. It really doesn't matter. The person's going to like who they like.
Yeah, they're 100% over this person, but the topic keeps coming up. What would you do?
Over them, ain't no need to be bringing them up. We gonna have
that again.
What's going on up here? What's going on right here? There's a doctor that has to be had. It could be mental that we don't know. Open your mouth. Maybe they're not in a position up here to open their mouth. So you initiate it. You started off. What's going on?
That we were supposed to be jointly, equally yoked in everything.